Hello and welcome back to Stitch Chemistry. In this video, we will look at 3 different star-shaped blankets, each made with one skein of Bernat Baby Blanket Sparkle yarn. The 3 patterns we will look at are a 5-point star by Her Science, an 8-point star by Mama J Crochet, and the viral 6-day star blanket pattern by Betty McKnit. Links for all 3 blanket tutorials are listed in the description of this video. I'm sure one of the biggest questions everyone has is how large are the blankets? So let's go ahead and take a look at that first. All 3 blankets ended up being approximately stroller blanket sized, which is 30 by 35 inches or 76 by 89 centimeters. I'm showing the stroller blanket sized overlaid these blankets with the purple boxes. I also included a small outlined black box. This is the security blanket size at 16 inches squared or 41 centimeters squared. Please note that these are approximate sizes. I did my best to line up the photos to make the sizes as accurate as possible, but they were not taken all in one photo, so the size comparisons might be slightly off. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the supplies I used for these blankets, and then we can take a closer look at each blanket individually. Each blanket was made with one 10.5-ounce skein of Bernat Baby Blanket Sparkle yarn in the color Seaside Sparkle. This yarn recommends a 8mm sized hook. I originally sized up to a 9mm, but as you can see in the picture in the top right, the ends were curling up. So I sized up again to a 10mm hook, which is what I ended up using for all 3 blankets. Let's go ahead and take a closer look now at all 3 blankets. As you can see from the first picture, I was able to crochet just over 10 rounds of the 5-point star with one skein. I love doing center out blanket patterns. It means I don't have to worry about how many chains I start my pattern with. I can just go ahead and go, and the skein will tell me how big the blanket's going to end up. And that, of course, was the point of this video, to let you guys have an idea of what you could expect size-wise to use just a single skein of yarn to make these blankets. Maybe your tension is different than mine, or maybe you choose to use a different hook size. So your final blanket might end up having more or fewer rows than mine does. You can also choose how you want to finish off your blanket. In picture 2, I could have just gone ahead and tied it off like this, where I just removed that extra bit of a row, and this could have been my final blanket. But I decided I wanted to have a solid row around the outside as a border. So I frogged row 10 and redid it as a solid double crochet round where I did not use chain spaces at the tips of the stars. So it would just be a nice solid border all the way around. Here is a little bit of extra information about how I did my borders. The final round, I did a double crochet in every stitch. In the points, instead of doing chain stitches, I went ahead and did 7 double crochets into the chain stitches from the row below. And in the dips, instead of skipping 2 stitches, I double crocheted 2 together in the lowest point. If you end up with not quite enough yarn to finish the last row you're hoping to make, you could also always use a half double crochet or single crochet stitch to make a border around your blanket to use up all your yarn and just make the blanket a little bit bigger. Next is the 8-point star blanket. This blanket ended up being 11 rows. The first 10 rows were the pattern rows, and then the 11th row is a border. You can see from picture 1, my first attempt at a border did not make it all the way around. I did not have enough yarn to do a half double crochet border, so I had to frog that, and then picture 2 is my final blanket, which has a single crochet border all the way around the outside of the blanket. And this blanket ended up being 29 by 29 inches or 74 by 74 centimeters. Here you can see the details of the single crochet border I put on the blanket. I put a single crochet in each stitch, including the 2 stitches at the bottom of every dip. And in the points, I put 4 single crochets in the chains from the row below. Finally, we have the 6-day star blanket. This blanket crocheted 11 rows. As you can see from the first picture, at the end of the 11th row, I had just a very small bit of yarn left. I knew that it wouldn't be enough to complete another row, even a single crochet border, and I really liked the way the last 2 rows looked. This blanket reminds me more of a snowflake than of a star, and I decided I wanted to leave it as it was, but you, of course, can add a different border if that is what you would prefer. My blanket ended up measuring 28 by 26 inches or 71 by 66 centimeters. Here are all 3 blankets side by side one more time. I am so curious to hear which one you liked the best. I enjoyed crocheting the 5-point star and 8-point star blankets because for both of those blankets, after the initial setup rounds, you just crochet the same row after row after row. And I like those kind of mindless patterns where I can watch TV or talk to someone or listen to a podcast and just crochet along without having to count. I did have to count in the 6-day star blanket, but that one I think visually looks so cool and so interesting with all the different changes between the patterns in every row. I would love to hear, so please comment and let me know which blanket you enjoyed the best. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you would like to see other videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching.